Hello, my dear friends. Hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining again in your channel. My dear friends, this is also one of the videos in sequence of traps. I already made 8 videos about different traps that you can checkmate your opponent. Either you can take your opponent's piece or you can take priority in the game. My dear friends, in this video, as this is the 9th video of traps, in this video I am going to show you how you can take your opponent's queen. So my dear friends, without wasting the time, let's get started the game. My dear friends, if your opponent starts the game by pushing the pawn into d4, so in here you have different options to play. But in here I am suggesting you also go in this line and take your knight into f6. Now your opponent is pushing the pawn into c4. You just simply push the pawn into e5. When you push the pawn into e5, your opponent is seeing that your pawn that you just pushed has no defender. So he is deciding to take this pawn and attacking to your knight. You just simply take your knight into e4. After you placed your knight into e4, now your opponent has different options I'm going to tell you. For example, in here your opponent cannot take his knight into c3 because you are taking this knight. When he takes back, you damaged the structure pawn of your opponent, and in the middle game or in the end game it would be very difficult for white to protect and defend from these pawns. So this is not a good idea, and this is not a good lines for your opponent to take out his knight in this situation. So in here the second option, your opponent cannot take his bishop because you are simply taking back with your knight. So my dear friends, in here the best move for your opponent is to activate his pieces by taking his knight into f3. So you have the best move in here, and that is pushing the pawn into d6 and telling your opponent that if you are going to take my pawn, so it is your choice, otherwise I'm going to take it. In case if your opponent decides to take your pawn, so simply capture it with your bishop. So now again in here, my dear friends, if you analyze the entire game, your opponent has not any other active move from his queen side, as you controlled all these squares that, for example, is bishop is going is controlled by you. So it is not a good move. And also you control the knight squares as well. So for example, if he decides to move the knight, so definitely you are taking and damaging the structure of his pawn. Maybe the best move for your opponent as he is doing is pushing the pawn into g3. Somehow your opponent is deciding to take his bishop from this side and take the diagonal lines. So he is going to do like that. But my dear friends, in here by his surprise, you have the best move and you can win the queen. So my dear friends, pause the video for only 1 minute or maximum 2 minutes if you can find the best move in here for black pieces. The best move in here is to sacrifice your knight. And now with your knight, you are attacking to the queen and to your opponent's rook. Your opponent has 2 options. The first one is capturing your knight by his king, and the second one is moving his queen. For example, in here, if he moves his queen into c2, now you are simply capturing the rook. For example, if he take his bishop into g2 and try to attack to your knight, so simply you are taking this pawn. If he takes back, so you are taking with your bishop and giving a fantastic check. So in here, your opponent cannot go to this line because it is controlled by your queen. So maybe your opponent is deciding to go into f1. So now you are going to castle simply. You are going to castle. And also your opponent cannot move his king. So therefore, in this position, there is lots of chance that you are winning this game. And also you have different moves. So that's why it is not a good idea for your opponent to displace his queen. And also he cannot solve that problem if your opponent decides to capture your knight by his king. You have the base move, and that is sacrificing your bishop and giving check. So your opponent is taking your bishop, the base move is coming, and that is exactly capturing the queen. So in here, my dear friends, if you analyze, black is completely going to win the game. So it was today's trap. So thank you so much, my dear friends, for watching the video. If you like the video, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. So whenever I'm uploading a new video, so you should be the first one to watch the video. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.